The humble spark. In a quiet, forest-lined village in East Africa, a man named Tar lived a life of simplicity and silent strength. He had no riches to show, no grand compound to boast of, but what he lacked in wealth, he made up for in heart. His wife, Ayana, was the kind of woman who smiled through storms. His 3 children, 2 spirited boys and a gentle, bright-eyed daughter named Amina, completed his world. Their home was made of clay and straw, but it rang with laughter every evening. Tar worked other people's farms, backbreaking labor for small pay. Ayana sold fruits and vegetables in the market, her warm voice drawing customers like bees to nectar. Together they built a haven. They didn't have money, but they had each other, and to Tar that was enough. Until the world reminded him that love doesn't feed bellies or earn respect. Bruised pride. At a large village gathering, Tar sat among men he once called friends. They drank palm wine and ate goat meat roasted over hot coals. Tar brought nothing but his presence. "Since you didn't contribute, at least gather the dirty plates," one man said, laughing loudly. The others joined in, their chuckles stabbing like spears. Tar picked up the plates, each step away from the circle, heavier than the last. That night, Ayana found him staring into the fire, silent. "They mocked you again," she whispered. He nodded. "But you see this home, your smile, our children's joy? That's the only applause I need." She embraced him, but she saw something shift in his eyes. Pride, once his silent armor, was beginning to crack. The offer Tar's life became a string of humiliations. He washed floors for men with 3 wives. He fetched water for boys young enough to be his sons. And one day, he cleaned the latrine of a former friend who once shared roasted maize with him under moonlight. Then came Chief Azuka, the most powerful man in the village. His land stretched like the horizon. His words, law. Tar and his sons harvested Azuka's fields with blistered hands and aching backs. When they finished, Tar approached him for payment. But instead of money, Azuka offered an opportunity. "A ritual," he said. "No blood, no pain, just belief. And you will never have to lift a finger again." Tar hesitated. Azuka smiled and dropped a heavy pouch of gold into his hand. "Take it. Think of it as a glimpse of what could be." Rising shadows. That night, Tar returned home with the gold. Ayana stared in disbelief. "Tar, where did this come from?" He hesitated, then whispered, "A gift, a door opening." She looked at him, suspicion softening into concern. "Easy wealth isn't always a blessing, be careful." But the gold spoke louder than doubt. Soon their clay home became stone. The children walked in fine clothes. The village that once pitied Tar now bowed to him. Yet Ayana watched her husband grow distant. Some nights she caught him whispering to the stars, his hands trembling. Then came the letter. "The gods demand their due." The price revealed, Tar returned to the forest where the old man awaited him. "You have feasted, now pay," the old man said, eyes glowing in the dark. "What do they want?" Tar asked, voice shaking. "Your daughter, Amina." Tar's knees buckled. "She is my soul, my only girl." "You have 7 days." Tar returned home hollow-eyed. He couldn't eat. He couldn't sleep. He watched Amina laugh in the sun, her hair catching the light, and still he planned. On the 5th night, he gave her a cup of spiced milk laced with the potion. She drank it, smiling. "Thank you, Papa." He carried her to the forest, her body limp. The mortar waited. So did his guilt. Salvation in a scream. Just as Tar raised the pestle, a scream tore through the darkness. "Tar, stop!" It was Ayana. Behind her came villagers, faces twisted with horror and firelight. They pulled Tar back. Ayana cradled Amina's body, crying. "How could you?" The village elders restrained him. "You will answer to the king." In court, Tar fell to his knees and confessed everything. The greed, the ritual, the pressure. He begged for mercy. "You deserve death," the king said, "but your guilt is heavier than any sword. You will live, but behind bars. Let regret be your prison." The tale that remains years past. Tar sat in his cell telling stories to young inmates, not tales of glory, but of a man who lost his soul chasing shortcuts. Amina recovered slowly. Ayana never remarried. She visited Tar once a year, her eyes never forgiving, but never hating. Chief Azuka was never found. Some say he vanished into the forest. Others believe the gods took him as payment for what Tar refused to give. And there was something else the village never forgot. Ayana had once left Tar. Just before the gold came pouring in, after too many nights of hunger and shame, she packed her things and took the children to her mother's house. "I can't keep living in a house where dreams rot," she had said. But when the money arrived, when Tar rebuilt the home with fine stone and silk curtains, she returned, with tears and apologies. "I didn't know you could change our fate," she said, holding his hand. He forgave her, but something between them never quite healed. Today, in that same village, mothers tell their children, "When greed knocks, answer with wisdom, or end up like Tar, rich in gold but poor in peace."